All right, good Friday afternoon, everyone. Thanks for stopping by for a check of your forecast. We are tracking a couple of thunderstorms over in New Mexico. These will eventually make their way into the panhandles, and we'll probably see some scattered strong to severe storms later this evening. Thinking we'll mainly have a window for severe weather from about 5 o'clock tonight until 11 or 12 this evening. So it's going to be about a 6-hour window where severe storms are possible. Otherwise, just going to be looking for some additional rainfall because we have been dry for the last 4 or 5 days. But right now, it is just some general thunderstorm activity. We don't really expect these to be severe for another hour or two, but we will keep an eye on them as they get closer to eastern New Mexico and the Texas and Oklahoma panhandles. Temperatures outside, we are in the 80s for most of us and low 90s. You can see a few of those storms out in the distance. This is in Clovis, New Mexico. There's an overshooting top out there. Big Anvil, another anvil out here off in the distance. Don't really have any storms close to home, but they'll eventually get here. You can see a few of those storms way off out there as well over from Channing. As far as temperatures are concerned, a lot of 90s out there. 93 here in Amarillo, 96 in Hereford, up to 90 degrees in Boise City. You can see our dew points. They're really rich in the eastern half of the panhandle. Lots of high 50s to 60s. A little bit drier the further west you go. That's going to allow for what we call inverted V soundings. The temperatures are in the 90s, dew points are in the 50s. That's a pretty big gap or variance in your dew point and temperature, which means there is some dry air here at the surface. These storms will have to fall through some of that dry air. That's actually going to create our main hazard of damaging winds, which will be the main concern from tonight until 11 p.m. We have a marginal to slight risk out across the entire area, and that will be our primary hazard running through this evening. For Saturday, it's a marginal risk. We may get a few more isolated thunderstorms again in the afternoon. A little bit of some northwest flow should push some of those storms into the panhandle. Same story on Sunday for Father's Day. Likely just some marginally severe storms on an isolated level. So this is 4 o'clock this afternoon. You can see our model picking up on storms around 5, 6 p.m. Those creating a fairly large MCS in the South Panhandle and then exiting the region overnight tonight. Maybe a few sporadic showers in the morning. Otherwise, we'll see quiet conditions to start your day. We'll have highs get back into the upper 80s and low 90s tomorrow afternoon. Some isolated thunderstorms possible, especially later in the evening, and then we'll have another round of some isolated storms get going again on Sunday afternoon as temperatures climb into the mid and upper 90s. Those storms will be a little bit more isolated though. So here's your Father's Day forecast. Temperature is going to start off around 71 degrees. We'll get into the 80s by lunchtime, and then we'll climb into the 90s in the afternoon, very close to 100 degrees. So if you do plan on being outside with Dad, make sure you stay hydrated, drink plenty of water to, again, beat the heat. That ridge of high pressure, that heat dome, is the big driving factor for the warmer temperatures through the next several days. Monday and Tuesday look to be our two hottest afternoons. We actually have a very good chance to climb to or even above 100 degrees in several locations here across the panhandle. So that's something that we can expect for at least the start of next week. You can see that that ridge does get pushed further south by Tuesday. So maybe by the second half of the week, we'll start getting some better flow aloft, maybe some storms riding over the ridge. But temperatures, very good chance to reach the century mark on Monday. We've got a 90% chance here in Amarillo to hit 100, 60% chance there in Shamrock, and then about a 50 to 40% chance as you get over into western Oklahoma. Maybe just enough moisture in the air to slow down how hot it gets. Now, the heat index could certainly get up into the triple digits in western Oklahoma, but the actual air temperature may stay in the upper 90s. Tuesday, better chance for a lot of low 100s across the panhandles, a very high chance from really both state lines. We'll likely see a lot of us between 100 and 105 degrees. And as far as precipitation chances are concerned, does not look well for the next 6 to 10 days. Temperatures largely going to stay above average for us with the overall pattern that we're expected to be in. So don't go betting the farm on seeing a wet pattern continue through the month of June. We have fallen out of drought conditions or even dry conditions for the entire Texas and Oklahoma panhandle. Still a couple of spots in New Mexico. But this time last year, we had about 70% of the area that was under at least abnormally dry conditions. And right now, we're at like 5%. So it's been a very wet stretch of weather for us, been very good to the late spring and early summer months. But we are starting to dry things out, and we could see our first triple-digit days of the year early next week. The warmest we've been is today, 93 degrees. So This is the hottest it's been all year. Just make sure you pace yourself if you're going to be outside this weekend, especially on Monday and Tuesday, as the temperatures are going to be pretty hot that afternoon. So just make sure that you are being careful with any of those outdoor activities that you do otherwise plan on doing. That is all we've got for you. Once we start getting some severe storms this evening, we'll jump back on and do another full-time live. But for right now, things